Good morning, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here this morning. Thank you for having me. As Annika mentioned, I'm the CEO of Aisle 411. We are based in the United States. And what I want to talk to you today about is why 30 centimeters matters. All right? Now, we're talking about indoor positioning here. But first, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Lionel Messi, the football player, and I mean football in the real sense, not American football. So if you're Lionel Messi, 30 centimeters matters a lot. And it's really what separates an average player from greatness. So I wanted to open up and actually show you a little video clip here. It's a little painful to watch because this is the video clip where Messi scored one of the best penalty shots of all time against the United States. But take a look at this for a second.
Messi with a record-breaking goal! 2-0 Argentina, number 55.
And everybody on the field thought he was going over the wall, except for that man, Lionel Messi. Brad Guzan had a good look at it. Just too good for Messi. Absolutely sensational. And congratulations, Mr. Messi. You are the all-time leading scorer for Argentina.
So you tell me if you think 30 centimeters matters to Messi, right? And it really, again, it separates average from greatness. And so today I'm going to talk to you about the average indoor positioning solutions that are out there and the greatness that Philips has with their indoor positioning. And I can speak to you about this because for the last 8 years, our company has been building software solutions for retailers where we are essentially like Google Maps for inside retail stores. We take all the product data, all the floor planning data, and allow shoppers and store associates to search and navigate to those items on a shelf. To give you a little bit of context where we come from, Aisle 411 is now deployed in roughly 14,000 indoor venues across the world, primarily in the United States, but we're starting to expand into other geographies as well. When you look at those venues, we're also managing 3.7 million UPCs. Those 3.7 million UPCs are then mapped to over 18 million sub-aisle locations inside stores. So for us, getting indoor positioning that is very, very accurate is very critical. And it's critical to you as well because you're managing product level data that sits at millions of different locations across your stores. So this is a quick snapshot of some of the deployments that we have across different retailers, just so you understand the context of what I'll be discussing today. We deploy typically our software that's inside of retail mobile applications through what we call SDKs, software development kits. And that allows you as a retailer to take mapping software and indoor positioning software and do everything that you need to do as a business. We were also recently ranked by ABI Research, which is one of the industry analysts that follows indoor positioning. We were ranked as number 2 in the world. Number 1 was Google, and we were tied for number 2 with Apple. So it's a great ecosystem to be involved in. Oop, my apologies. Let me introduce this video. So this video was taken at the Lighten building in Frankfurt, the big conference. Actually, I think this one may have been in San Diego. So, yeah, Light Fair in San Diego. And basically, it's going to show you Aisle 411's mapping software integrated with Philips indoor positioning, along with some of the interesting analytics that come out of it.
Aisle 411 and Philips work together to bring the power of Aisle 411's indoor mapping, mobile application, and analytics platform with Philips indoor positioning through visible light communication. This demonstration was recorded live at the Light Fair Conference in San Diego, California in May 2016, and is designed to emulate a shopping trip in store, whereby the shopper has a list of items and the indoor positioning system is used to enhance the shopper experience and provide valuable shopper metrics based on intent, location, path, dwell time, and special offer engagement. We begin our journey with pasta and wine on our shopping list. A blue map pin guides the shopper to the pasta station. As the shopper approaches the station, a featured pasta recipe is displayed along with a list of ingredients needed to prepare the dish. The shopper adds the necessary ingredients to the shopping list, and new map pins appear. The shopper heads to the fresh produce station to pick up tomatoes, oregano, and capers. Philips Visible Light Communication tracks the shopper location in real time with 30-centimeter accuracy and orientation. As the shopper enters the shelf area, a smart shopping tip appears on screen at exactly the moment of decision to help the shopper choose a ripe tomato. Next, the shopper is guided to the oil station. Two promotional offers are presented to the shopper when they are in the aisle and ready to buy. The last stop on the shopping trip is the wine station, where a virtual shopping assistant offers to send an in-store wine expert to help the shopper choose the perfect bottle of wine. At the conclusion of the shopping trip, the shopper's path through the store and the time spent at each location is summarized, offering valuable insights on how a guest shops. Through the Aisle 411 Shelf Visits Analytics platform, the shopper's journey can be compared to all other guests who have visited the store for a given period of time, allowing for benchmarking. A breakdown of guest decisions show that 20% of the guests who saw the pasta recipe added 2 ingredients to their shopping list. This example demonstrates how retailers can use in-store engagement to create basket lift. A real-time heat map shows the movement and dwell patterns of guests as they navigate the store. Please contact Aisle 411 to learn how indoor maps, location, and analytics can help your business.
So some very impressive technology there. As we think about all of this indoor positioning, I think it's important if you look at your stores in a digital sense. And if you take, for example, every shelf and look at it like the equivalency of a URL on a website, all of a sudden you're able to start tracking shopper behavior, store associate behavior, why shoppers visit those shelves, how long they stay there, what they put in their basket, what they take out. And so if you look at this example, it's not a pretty picture, but and it's a little out of focus here, but essentially if you look at every shelf throughout this small store, there's over 100 different sub-locations, or think of it like 100 different URLs in your store. And so being able to know where a shopper dwells or where an associate is dwelling, 30-centimeter accuracy makes a very, very big difference. There are a lot of technologies out there that can get you 3 meters in terms of accuracy. But 3 meters, as you can, just by looking at this, 3 meters doesn't tell you a lot. It maybe tells you the department where someone is dwelling, but it doesn't tell you the products that they're looking at, and which then gives you an idea of what their intent is on purchasing. So I want to quickly walk through some of the different indoor positioning technologies that we have integrated, and you'll kind of get a sense of why visible light communication is so important. So beacons are something that are very important, I think, in the whole overall scheme of proximity marketing. The nice thing is that they can trigger messaging when someone is passively engaged. So that means that if their mobile device is in their pocket, you can still engage with that shopper. But there's also some other things that it can't do in terms of accuracy. If you look at Wi-Fi, the nice thing is that Wi-Fi is typically pervasive, and there are solutions now that you can implement without having to have your shoppers tied into or logged into the Wi-Fi network. So we work with Apple and Google on some of their indoor positioning technologies. However, the problem is the accuracy level. You're still looking at 2 to 3 meters worth of accuracy. Then you get into some interesting stuff like computer vision on mobile devices. Now today you're also going to see a demo of not only the Philips indoor positioning technology, but some of this new computer vision based software the device itself is actually figuring out where it is in space. You can actually get about 10 centimeters level worth of accuracy. However, you have to have that Android device, and you have to be holding it up where it's pointing in front of you, which is not ideal for any kind of a shopper engagement. Then you have computer vision sensors. So these are things that you can actually put into the ceiling. They're monitoring the path of all of your store associates and all of your shoppers, but it's really not collecting anything other than location. It's not collecting any kind of loyalty information or shopper intent. Then you look at magnetic-based positioning. So there's new technology that you can leverage the magnetic fields in any indoor space, and the mobile device will start to understand where it is. This is, again, about 2 to 3 meters worth of accuracy. The problem is, though, if you're standing still, there's not enough data for your mobile device to understand where it is. So with magnetic-based positioning, you typically need to be moving. And so if I'm a shopper and I pull out my mobile device and I'm standing still, you're not going to get the accuracy that you need at all. And then that brings us to LED visible light communication. So this does require an active shopper. The beauty in the food industry is that we have a lot of shoppers that are coming in and using shopping lists. And more they're moving to digital shopping lists. And so they're actively engaged on their mobile devices. And when that happens, you can then get this 30 centimeter level of accuracy along with orientation. And that really allows you to provide a very heightened level of customer service, as well as the analytics that are gained on your shoppers as well. So there are 4 main points that I think are important for you to think about in terms of why all this matters. One of them is brand marketing and merchandising. So being able to understand with precision shopper location, it helps you better lay out your store. The accuracy level, if you remember that picture of the store being like a URL, every shelf being a URL and website, that type of information now can be turned into very, very valuable merchandising data. Remarketing is another area that a lot of times is overlooked, but if you understand how your shopper shopped, and let's say that they dwelled in a certain area in a store, that can then be used in email marketing, online marketing, print marketing, etc. And it's important to take all that data and put it into one centralized system that can be reutilized. Then I think this is probably the most obvious, but customer assistance, being able to help a shopper navigate to items that they came in for. If there's coupons or offers that they're looking at, a lot of times these are things that the shopper's not purchasing on a regular basis, and we've found that we can increase conversion of those offers or those specials by showing the shopper where the item's located. Sounds pretty simple, but a lot of times it's overlooked, and a lot of times shoppers abandon those purchases because they don't know where those new items are located. And then finally, order picking. So we're seeing a lot more transition into online orders with in-store pickup or even home delivery. And I think that the indoor positioning becomes even more critical in this use case, because not only are you saving a shopper time or an order picker time, time is literally money. When you're looking at time savings, somebody going through your store that may not have been working there too long, being able to pick those items very efficiently. So hopefully this gives you an idea of why 30 centimeters matters and why it matters to us. I'm going to turn it over to Gerben, and he's going to talk a little bit more detail about the Philips VLC solution.
Okay. Thank you, Nathan. Great presentation. No need for me to sell you Philips indoor positioning. Nathan already did that. So that's great. My name is Gerben van der Lugt. I work for Philips Lighting in the systems team, and I lead the indoor positioning program. Before we dive into indoor positioning and why we developed it and what the capabilities are, I would like to take one step back and basically see why are we anyway moving beyond illuminating the space, because that's our business already for 100 years, right? And the vision that we have is taking a very different perspective on lighting and actually look at the lighting infrastructure as what you could call the central nervous system of the store, right? Just imagine if you would need an infrastructure that is densely deployed, such that you can monitor what's happening in the space, not only location, but for example, also temperature of your coolers or whatsoever. Any densely deployed infrastructure. And you look up what infrastructure you could reuse, then lighting pops up as a very, very good candidate, right? So the way we look at it is if we can connect the lighting, we can enhance it with sensors, with communication devices, and bring that data back to a store brain, a central database, then you can actually make the store as transparent to you as a retailer as your website is today, right? We also believe with that technology you can make the store as convenient for the shopper as the website is today, while it's more inspiring to be in the store than on a website. So that's the bigger vision, and then we started thinking about, okay, so what is the first real application that is around the corner for retailers, for you, that we could bring to the market, and that's where indoor positioning pops in. Just a few remarks still on why that infrastructure is so well designed, basically. It's a wall-to-wall infrastructure, right? Lighting is everywhere. It's quite dense. Every 5 square meters has a fixture. It's powered. So instead of, for example, deploying beacons in your store that are battery powered, why would you not make beacons part of your lighting infrastructure? It's often controlled, and it could be connected in the future as well. It's accurately mapped and installed. It basically means we know where the fixtures are, so we can use the knowledge of that location. That's actually what we do for indoor positioning. And last but not least, it's an infrastructure that's designed to scale, to be easily installed, and to have a long life, right? So therefore, it could be the backbone of your IoT future. And this is, by the way, not just relevant for retail, so it's probably good to quickly think through what it could be for other segments as well. Los Angeles, I think, is a great example where we have an outdoor lighting system connected, so each pole is connected to a backend. And we just released the news 2 weeks ago that those poles will actually start to be used for noise monitoring. So we can actually know exactly in the city where a crash is happening or where the gunshot is happening, right? So just imagine what you can do with such a granular insight in what's happening in the city. Same goes for office buildings. We have the Edge in Amsterdam. I think that's probably where you know about, because we talked a lot about that project. 6,000 fixtures, all connected, all measuring presence, so we know exactly which office, which cell is occupied, which meeting room you can book, yes or no. And last but not least, we could do the same thing for retail. That's the Carrefour project. I will have a quick video about that later on. So why using light for indoor positioning? Infrastructure is perfect. I just explained that. Then there's the argument that Nathan made, which is it's super accurate, 30 centimeter, 1 foot of accuracy. But we will also bring beacons to the lighting infrastructure, so it provides you with a pretty future-proof infrastructure that not only does VLC, visible light communication, or coded light as we call it, but also can be used for beaconing, meaning that you can actually notify people if they walk up or into the store. And the big promise therefore is if you use lighting for that or reuse lighting, there's no need for additional infrastructure. So with the fact that you have a great lighting system, you have energy savings, then you also have a very accurate indoor positioning system using the same infrastructure. Now that's all nice, having your store wired up and ready for indoor positioning, but then what are you going to do with it, right? At the end of the day, just indoor positioning is nothing. You need to do something with it that is useful for you or for your shoppers. We see 4 pillars, and Nathan kind of already hinted towards them. The most important one is shopper convenience. Just make the life of the shopper easier in the store, and product finding, I think, is a great example. Specifically in large format stores where people really can spend 5 to 10 minutes searching for that last item on their shopping list. This is where they could help by a product finding solution. Shopper engagement is all about communicating with the shopper at the right moment in the store. So depending on where they are, you start to message them or communicate with them, right? Sending them offers on the wines when they are at the wine section. We know that's much more relevant and much more effective than sending it, for example, to the home address, right? So that's shopper engagement. Staff and store efficiency is giving those tools in the hands of your staff. How many of your floor workers, the staff in the store, actually know where the products are? Well, they do after a few weeks, but they also resign after a few weeks, right? That's the problem. Now, give them that tool. They are asked many, many times a day, where is the product? Give them this tool and they will actually be able to find it quickly. Last but not least, and there is a separate workshop later today on analytics. If you gather this location data by engaging with your shoppers, making their life easier, then obviously you can use that data as well to better understand what's happening in the store, right? You know where the tracks of the shoppers are, you know where they dwelled. You could start combining that, if your customer allows, with point of sale data. And Dirk Essing, who is in the back of the room, will in the workshop explore a little bit what's possible with location data when it comes to analytics. Last but not least, good news for retailers. If you have this insight in your store and you have the tools to actually engage with the customer much more effectively in the store, obviously that allows you to partner more effectively with the brands as well. Because the brands will be interested to know that you know where the shopper is in the store. We did some research, by the way, in we did 4, but these are the results of 3 out of the 4. USA, France, Netherlands, and Turkey, we interviewed 4,000 consumers on where they think that the relevance of indoor positioning is. So we asked them, if you would have a mobile device and an app that is location aware, what kind of services would you like to see in the app of the retailer? And this was done for 2 segments. One was do-it-yourself, one was food, and that is obviously where we talk about today. And if you look at the results, first of all, pretty good scores. So we tested 26 use cases, and out of the 26, 24 scored higher than 50% of the people that said, oh, this is of interest for me, which is quite good. The highest scored were receiving and finding good deals. So that's probably the bad news of the good news as well, is that it's still, for a lot of shoppers, it's all about deals, right? Having access to the right promotion, the right deal. Receive personalized promotions based on location. Also, for example, if I walk through the store and I'm in the electronics department of a large food retailer, right? I just want to quickly see if that one tablet that I was looking for, if there are more promotions around me that are interesting for me at that moment. We also found some room for excitement, so you can gamify the shopping experience a bit more. I think that's where probably electronic retailers are a bit more advanced than food retailers today, is making it a fun journey as well. Search for products, obviously, scored high. And also fast product and price information. So if you have a mobile app that knows where you are, you can actually provide information much more easily because you know what people might be looking for. And then last but not least, and Nathan mentioned it as well, it's the convenience and efficiency. I should watch time, right? Okay, good, I will. It basically means that if you would provide these services to your shoppers in the mobile application, the chance that they will start using the mobile application gets higher, right? Mobile app usage, specifically in Europe, for retailers is still pretty low. This is a picture where we say, okay, current app usage for food, that's the top part of the circle, is 47% in the US, which is actually pretty good. There are quite a few big retailers in the US that have well-advanced mobile applications. France, 28%, Netherlands, 24%, right? And that's what you typically see in markets, is that app usage in food retail is around 20 to 30%. If you would add the services we just described to your mobile application, then that could rise. 54% in the US, 57% in France. So in France, there's a big opportunity. And in the Netherlands, from 24% to 32%. So that's quite a significant increase in the app usage if you would enhance mobile application with location-based services. You know the story, most of you know the story about Carrefour. We have a large store in Lille, 8,000 square meters, where our system works. It's used for promotion finding, so really targeted to promotions where people can easily find the promotions that they selected in their shopping list. The good news is we just extended that demo to, or that pilot to a second pilot where now our system also works with a tablet that is on the trolley. It's called Chariot Connecté, means connected trolley. And that's a trolley that provides the exact same functionality. So people can just take the trolley, they can look for promotions, navigate through the store. But next to that, in collaboration with Media Performances, which is the media company of Carrefour in France, on the right side of the screen, promotions, information, new product introductions are introduced depending on where people are in the store. I think that's super smart because it basically allows Carrefour as well to sell part of that screen to the brands, right? For this, we will also do our first analytics. That's why I show these pictures. These are mock-up pictures, but basically show what would be possible with analytics if you, for example, have a connected trolley connected to our indoor positioning system. And you can see that the data that we can get from that is actually very, very granular. Okay, that's to finalize the full story or indoor positioning. There will be 2 workshops. One where Nathan and I will, first of all, show you how it works, so to show the capability of the system, but also show you a little bit what's happening in the future with the Google Tango technology. And Dirk will do the analytics workshop where you can explore a little bit more what's possible with location data from an analytics perspective.